A lot of green for that green, up to $93 trillion over 10 years. It would work out to about $600,000 at a minimum for each of us. The group's president that came up with this, the former Congressional Budget Office Director, Douglas Holtz-Eakin, with me now. You know, Doug, as soon as that came out, Ed Markey, the co-sponsor of all of this with Congresswoman Cortez, was saying the analysis includes artificially inflated numbers that rely on lazy assumptions. What do you think?
I politely disagree. We took the Green New Deal seriously as a policy proposal and did what we do with any policy proposal. We looked at the specific projects that they had included in the Green New Deal, whether it was a transportation system with zero net emissions of carbon or an electricity grid entirely powered by renewables, guaranteed jobs that include paid family leave, retirement benefits, health benefits, paid vacations, a variety of things that you could then go to the data and ask how much would this cost, and it turns out that those are some fairly large numbers, to say the least.
All right, so for the low carbon electricity grid, you estimate that would be $5.4 trillion.
Right.
Net zero emissions transportation system, doing it out the commercial jets and all, up to $2.7 trillion. Guaranteed jobs, I don't know how that works out, but it's a wide range, anywhere from $7 trillion to $44 trillion. So you can kind of see a little bit what Senator Markey is getting at here. There are wide swings in estimates and variables in your criticism that was part of the same criticism of their plan.
So there are big ranges, and I would not say anything other than that. And that's because there's a lack of detail in the plan. So we took the best information we had, and we didn't want to pretend that it was the biggest number. We also gave the low estimates. So if you look at guaranteed jobs, you can say, all right, let's just find the people who are unemployed, put them in a job as described in the Green New Deal, and ask what it costs. Or you could imagine, gee, if we do that, the people who aren't working might go back into the labor force. That would cost even more. And then if you really look, there are some people working right now. They aren't in jobs that make as much as the Green New Deal envisions. They don't have paid vacation. They don't have paid family leave.
That's
they
where
don't
you
have retirement
calculated
benefits.
the loss,
so you
the
keep adding it up.
Impact. Now, Kamala Harris,
Sure.
who was for a lot of this, although not to every detail, said this is not about a cost, but rather an investment. What do you say?
Investments cost money. They have benefits out there in the future, and they can make the case for these benefits. Every policy that a politician puts forward presumably has benefits. It's their job to advocate for those benefits, say, this will be a greater nation if we do this. We're simply adding up the costs. Someone's going to foot this bill. We want to know how big it is, and it tells you how big the benefits have to be to make it worthwhile.
The only difficulty with it, as you said, it was a little, vague when it came to the cost for doing a lot of this itself or how they would pay for a lot of this. So
Sure.
Then how do you go backwards and try to put pen to paper on costs that not even they were able to outline?
So, for example, there's universal health care. It says, everyone will have health care. Well, that's not a particularly precise description. I would admit that. So we went to a specific piece of legislation that does that, the Medicare for All legislation that Bernie Sanders introduced last year, and we priced that. And that has lots of detail. It's a legislative proposal. So where we needed to, we went to previous work that did that kind of thing.
Okay. Now, is it your sense from this that Democrats rallying around this are making a mistake? Because they come back and say, well, that's fine of Republicans to criticize this, considering the fact that they've been running up the debt with abandon. They've been spending on things completely without reason or rationale. So who are they to judge, you say?
This is not a partisan judgment. I am a registered Republican, and as you know, I worked for Senator McCain's presidential campaign. But this is just a policy analysis, and it doesn't say we shouldn't do it. Right. It just says if you want to do this, you're going to have to come up with, at the upper end, 93, at the bottom end, $51 trillion over the next 10 years. So you need $5 trillion a year. That's a lot of money. They may be willing to do that. That's their call.
Okay. Doug, very good.